Donald Trump released this video on his, social media account not too long ago.
And on June 14th, 1946, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God gave us Trump.
FYI, Trump didn't even make this. Trump's team didn't make this. You know who made this? A guy named Dilly. We're going to talk about him in a second, but I wanted to give you an idea of like what the video was about. Seriously, it's bizarre to see that people believe this stuff about Trump.
Oval Office and stay past midnight at a meeting of the heads of state. So God made Trump. I need somebody with arms, strong enough to rustle the deep state, and yet gentle enough to deliver his own grandchild.
Okay, I don't think that Trump delivered his own grandchildren. I think a doctor did that, but that's neither here nor there. So anyways, I want to watch that whole video and then talk about Dilly, the guy who made it. Absolutely strange, dude. By the way, this video came out early January 2024.
Somebody to ruffle the feathers. Tame cantankerous World Economic Forum.
Dude, I love cantankerous. I love that word.
Come home hungry. Have to wait until the First Lady is done with lunch with friends. Then tell the ladies to be sure and come back real soon. And mean it. So God gave us Trump.
My God, dude, this is insane propaganda. These people seriously love Trump like he's a god. It is bizarre. So God made Trump.
I need somebody who can shape an axe, but wield a sword.
Wait, can Trump shape an axe or wield a sword? This is news to me.
Who had the courage to step foot in North Korea. Who can make money from the tar of the sand, turn liquid to gold. Who understands the difference between tariffs and inflation.
Does somebody not understand the difference between tariffs and inflation? How are those two things linked? Inflation is the value of the dollar going down, I believe. So you have to use more dollars to purchase goods because it's worth less. Deflation is where the value of the dollar goes up, so you have to use less dollars to buy goods. Tariffs are just like basically like a tax that you charge people for importing or exporting goods or whatever, right? Like how are these things connected at all?
Will finish his 40-hour week by Tuesday noon, but then put in another 72 hours.
On the golf course, right? Finish his 40-hour golf course week, on Tuesday at noon, and then finish out the rest of his golf course week. Anyways, that's basically all Trump did was golf. You think this dude was sitting in the Oval Office the whole time? Did this dude do any work, for that matter, aside from, making a mess out of everything he touched? Quick interjection, this won't take long. If you like what I do, I'd appreciate it if you watch the video to the end. YouTube bases video reach off of watch time, so watching even an extra minute makes the video go further. Liking and subscribing goes a long way too. Finally, it would be awesome if you guys checked out my Patreon. All links are in the description, of course. Okay, back to the video.
By Tuesday noon, but then put in another 72 hours. So God made Trump. God had to have somebody willing to go into the den of vipers. Call out the fake news for their tongues as sharp as a serpent's. The poison of vipers is on their lips.
So right now they're using religious language. They're using biblical language, describing the enemy of God's people or whatever. The enemies of Trump are the enemies of God's people. God made Trump. I mean, is it clear yet that they believe that Trump is the new Messiah, the Son of Man, the second coming of Jesus? If you doubt me on that, watch the last video that released about it. They believe him to be the second coming, effectively. He's not like Jesus in the flesh. He's just fulfilling the role that Jesus was supposed to fulfill when he returned. So God sent Trump instead. God being Jesus, presumably. Jesus sent Trump. This is the second coming. That's my assumption for what they mean here.
And yet stop. So God made Trump. God said, I need somebody who will be strong and courageous, who will not be afraid or terrified of the wolves when they attack, a man who cares for the flock, a shepherd to mankind who won't ever leave nor forsake them.
Trump cares for the flock and would never forsake them? Are you kidding me? What happened on January 6th to all the January 6th people? They fought for him, literally fought for him. Hand to hand, got in there, brought in weapons into the Capitol and tried to force him to remain president. And what did he do? He walked out on them. He left office without pardoning them when he was fully capable of pardoning them. Seriously. Cares for the flock, would never forsake them? What? Are we talking about the same guy? For the record, I just want to point this out. I'm not religious, but from my understanding, a lot of people believe that the Antichrist is going to be worshipped like Jesus in the end times. I'm just saying. I don't believe any of this. I think it's complete nonsense. All of it about Trump being a god and all of that junk. I'm just saying this was precisely described by the Bible. That's all.
Nor forsake them. I need the most diligent worker to follow the path and remain strong in faith and know the belief of God and country. Somebody who's willing to drill.
Look at this. This is one of his most embarrassing moments, in my opinion, where he hugs a flag. They're just flashing ridiculous moments on screen. This is desecration of the flag, by the way. Founding fathers would be appalled at the fact that he's doing this. Quick note before we continue, I'm writing a book about my experiences inside the religion of Jehovah's Witnesses. I cover the culture and doctrine. It's understandable even if you know literally nothing about the religion, so I'd appreciate it if you gave it a read. To find out more, go to owenmorgan.com/book. All links are in the description, of course. Okay, back to the video. You're not even supposed to let a flag touch the ground. You're supposed to carry it. You're not supposed to burn it when it's too old to fly. You're supposed to fold it into a triangle, I believe, and bury it. And otherwise, it should never be on the ground, should never touch the ground, shouldn't be on your pants, shouldn't be hugged, shouldn't be on your Jeep or any of that other junk. You need to treat the flag with respect, according to the Founding Fathers. Like, I think that's ridiculous, and I couldn't possibly care less. I'm just saying the Founding Fathers would be disgusted by what they're seeing if they saw this. That's all.
Somebody who's willing to drill, bring back manufacturing and American jobs, farm the lands, secure our borders.
Wait, didn't he have his opportunity? He had 4 years to do all this. Why didn't he do it? I don't understand.
Build our military, fight the system all day, and finish a hard week's work by attending church on Sunday.
Tell me the last time Trump has attended a church. Which church does Trump go to? What denomination is he? I actually happen to know that he claims to be Presbyterian. I don't think he has been to church maybe once in his entire life. He only ever shows up to a church for weddings, funerals, if it's even held at a church, and as a photo opportunity. That's it. It's a joke to me that people unironically put this into a propaganda video about him, actually seem to believe that Trump goes to church every Sunday. What?
Finish a hard week's work by attending church on Sunday, and then his oldest son turns and says, "Dad, let's make America great again."
Oh my God, they're talking positively about Don Jr. now.
"Dad, let's make America great again. Dad, let's build back a country to be the envy of the world again." So God made Trump.
That's insane. That is straight up insane. At the end, you can see the Dilly 300 meme team. So for that reason, I'm pretty sure that Brendan Dilly produced it, and a number of other reasons. Let me lay him out for you. This is Brendan Dilly right here. And interestingly enough, he's a QAnoner, like full-blown QAnoner. Believes in the storm, believes in adrenochrome, the whole 9 yards, all of it. And I have some QAnon videos with him that I'll show if we have the time. But he was invited to Mar-a-Lago by Trump to hear Trump's announcement speech that he's going to run for president forever ago, back in 2022 or whenever it was. Listen to this.
I just got invited to Mar-a-Lago for President Trump's announcement tomorrow night. So I am going down to Mar-a-Lago tomorrow.
Dude's like Gilbert Gottfried. He does not have the voice for this.
I'm leaving immediately after the show is over.
No disrespect to Gottfried, by the way. That dude is awesome. I'm just saying this guy is not.
I am flying in. I'm being picked up by mad liberals at the airport. And I am heading to Mar-a-Lago for an announcement.
Oh my God, please don't do that again. That's awful, right? Is it just me?
From President Donald J. Trump. And I am extremely nervous about this. Because as you know, I am a basement-dwelling nerd who lives in his mother's house and doesn't normally go out into the public.
Okay, well, there's Brendan Dilly, if you're curious. Again, QAnoner. To my knowledge, he's the one that created that propaganda film that we just watched. Or at least his group did. His friends or something produced it. And Trump knows about him. He invited him to Mar-a-Lago for his speech. That's crazy. Let me show you a little bit more of Brendan Dilly if you're unfamiliar with him. This clip is from late August 2019. Check this out. This kind of lays out their strategy for elections.
Trump 2020. What's our strategy, guys? First rule of Trump 2020. Controlling the media. How do we do it? It doesn't have to be true. It just has to go viral. We're destroying them at their own game. Like, Dilly, where did you hear about that? I don't know. I made that up. You're a liar? For now.
I mean, can it be any clearer? He said the quiet part out loud there. I don't think you're supposed to say that part. Jesus, dude. I mean, that's the strategy, right? Lie. And do everything you can to make it go viral. Because, who was it? Winston Churchill, who said a lie travels halfway around the world before the truth can get its pants on. Something like that. Brendan Dilly knows that. Trump knows that. You know, Republicans know that. And that's why they lie brazenly. Because what, are you going to fact check them live on air? Even if you do, they're just going to say, oh, I simply disagree, good sir. Seems we're at an impasse. They just don't, they pretend that like they have the facts on their side. Even if that means they have alternative facts on their side, as Kellyanne Conway said. I'm not actually sure when this video is from. I had trouble tracking that down. I tried to source the dates on everything, but it's obviously from the Trump era, whenever that was. So check this out. I'm guessing probably around 2019, leading up to the 2020 election. Listen to what Dilly had to say here.
So you better pray to God, and I mean this literally, whoever the it is you pray to, okay? That Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, and Attorney General Barr clean this up lawfully.
It must have been before 2021, right? Because January 6, 2021 was when Trump, attacked. I guess it's probably after Trump lost the 2020 election. So between November 2020 and January 2021. That's my guess as to when this happened, okay?
Clean this up lawfully. Because if for any reason the President of the United States feels that it's not getting done the way it should and decides to put out the tweet that says, my fellow Americans, my fellow 2A loving Americans, it's time to take up arms against these assholes. You are all in under an hour. Under 1 hour, you're done. Every one of you. We're all just at home, hanging out, or we're on vacation like me right now, watching you idiots behave the way you do, waiting for that one tweet, that one emergency text message from the President of the United States that gives us the green light to finish this entire thing in under an hour. It will not be law enforcement. It will not be one of these slow, bureaucratic justice system wheels of justice turning. It'll be a group of people you didn't even know existed because we were at our houses, we got off work, we were with our families, but we were ready for that call. And if that call ever does come, you will be 7 ways from Sunday.
So, very obviously disturbing as hell. But the interesting thing about this is that I don't think that if Trump tweeted that, it would work. Yeah, it must have been before January 6, 2021, because he still had Twitter. And I think that's when he was banned from Twitter. Anyway, there's a woman named Romana Didulo. She calls herself the Queen of Canada. She runs a QAnon cult. And she has basically like a group of people that follow her around the country, and they set up shop in, abandoned schools that her supporters loan out to her or whatever. She has like, I don't know, probably 75,000 followers total on Telegram and other platforms. She directly said, it is time to kill people. Get your guns out and do it. That's what she said. Forever ago. And in response, her QAnon extremist Trump-supporting followers simply tweeted pictures of their guns and affirmation that they were with her. She can convince them to do some psychotic stuff. She convinced them to show up to a police department to do a citizen's arrest on the police, but none of them were armed when they showed up. There wasn't any, there wasn't weapons discharge when they showed up to do that. And I honestly think that people realize, even Trump supporters, even QAnon nutcases realize how real it is to pull a trigger, to carry a gun and point it at somebody. That's not something that just anybody can or will do. You have to be formed into a militia and trained, ready, and willing to do something like that. And that is what the Proud Boys are for. Proud Boys were created by Gavin McInnes, same dude who started Vice News, for real. Currently, I think it's run by Enrique Tarrio. Second in command was Joe Biggs. Those two guys went to prison for January 6th, I believe, or around January 6th related events. I'm not sure if they're still in charge or what, but the Proud Boys is effectively a militia for Donald Trump. They train with weapons on firing ranges and everything, and prepare for the day that Trump tells them to start pulling triggers. Really. That's 100% real. I believe that they would be willing to take that step if Trump said it. You have to be in an organized militia for that to actually work. And that's why it was so disturbing when Trump said at that debate, I'll denounce whoever. They said, denounce white supremacy. He said, name a group. Give me a group. Anybody. Joe Biden said, Proud Boys. Denounce the Proud Boys. And Trump said, Proud Boys, stand back and stand by, but I want to talk about Antifa or some other nonsense like that. Yeah, here you go. This is from the 2020 presidential debate against Biden. It was September 29th, 2020.
But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Sure,
are you
I'm
prepared
willing to do
specifically
that,
do it? Well, go ahead, sir.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from...
Well, no one's asking you that. Condemn white supremacy. See how easy that is? Check this out. Forever ago, there was an atheist who got in his car and rammed his car into like a big statue of the Ten Commandments to destroy it. I condemn that. See how easy that is? That's bad. Don't do that. Somebody that's on my side doing a bad thing, I condemn it. That's all you have to say. It's wrong. Don't do it. Why is that so hard for Donald Trump to say here? Instead, he's just saying, well, I don't care about that. What I care about is the blah, 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 the people that I don't like.
I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see people.
Then do it.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it.
God, I love that, dude. I love Biden in the background. Say it. That's funny.
Say it. Do it. Say it. Do you want to call him? What do you want to call him?
White supremacy, you fool. Say white supremacists. Condemn white supremacy.
Call him. What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
who would
white
you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud
militia.
Boys, stand back and stand by.
Okay, that wasn't condemnation. That was a military order, effectively. Stand back and stand by. Do you know after this happened, the Proud Boys got a massive boost in membership immediately after, and they put stand back and stand by on their T-shirts that they were selling. Seriously. This was a massive rallying call to the Proud Boys movement.
But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing.
Anyway, yeah. Joe Biden goes on to say his own FBI director said Antifa is not a group, it's an idea. So the point is what Brendan Dilly was saying here about, people getting their guns and all that. Normal people are not going to do that. Militias will do that. I definitely think that's the case, but I think they'll be a lot more hesitant if Trump is not in the Oval Office, and I think they'll be hesitant since they saw that Trump did not stand behind the January 6th people after that happened. The dude could have blanket pardoned everybody on January 6th. Why didn't he? You know why? Because he thought it might look bad on him. He's already in like a ton of criminal trouble. He couldn't possibly think that this would put him in a precarious position. The president has unilateral pardon power. He can pardon anybody for any reason, and that's just what it is. He would not have gotten in trouble for pardoning the January 6th people. He didn't do it because he thought it would look bad on him. That's it. And the Proud Boys and Brendan Dilly and everybody else, they saw that. They saw that Trump abandoned them when he didn't even have to. When he had an opportunity to save them, he abandoned them. People literally died for Trump that day, and he threw them under the bus. They're in there for 20 years, some of them.
Vipers, call out the fake news for their tongues as sharp as a serpent's. The poison of vipers is on their lips, and yet stop. So God made Trump. God said, I need somebody who will be strong and courageous, who will not be afraid or terrified of the wolves when they attack. A man who cares for the flock.
What are these people talking about? A man who cares for the flock? How can he unironically release something like that when he knows damn well that Trump doesn't care about anybody but himself? Give you another little taste of who this guy is. Check this one out. This one is from November 2nd, 2020. So it's the day before the election actually took place, or maybe 2 days before.
Democrats, look, I have to tell you guys something. I gotta tell you something, all right?
Tell me. I'm not a Democrat, but I'll take it. Lay it down for me here.
Liberal coworkers, dude, we're gonna butt you into oblivion tomorrow. You don't got a prayer, dude. You guys are gonna get absolutely savaged. Savaged! I mean, up beyond belief. You have no idea what's coming. You think you know, but you have no clue.
Honestly, I'm actually assuming that he knew, this guy specifically, that this guy knew in advance that January 6th was happening. And I think that Trump was trying to, like, he was setting things up every step of the way. Like, December 14th, I think, was one of the dates where the states individually certify. He tried to call them and get them to call that off before December 14th came around, or 18th, or whenever it was. That failed. He knew January 6th was his next opportunity. That failed too, obviously. But how much prep work went into the January 6th planning? It must have been some. Did it start before the election, or was it after the election? I have to wonder. Either way, this guy, Brendan Dilly, he knew there was violence coming. He knew what was going to happen. One way or another, Trump is going to remain in the Oval Office, or there's going to be civil unrest, the likes of which we haven't seen in a very long time. But aside from all of that, he also assumed that Democrats are going to lose terribly. He makes a wild claim in this. Just keep listening.
No clue. Do you see that? Those aren't white supremacists, you stupid mouth-breathing holes.
I think that's probably in reference to the debate where he was asked to condemn white supremacy.
Those are Americans of all different backgrounds, races, and creeds. We're going to your shit up, and then we're going to keep your shit up for the next 4 years. Liberalism is dead. Y'all motherfuckers better get used to the sound of this right here, because it is your whole party and ideology.
Yeah, then he played this really obnoxious, loud buzzing sound. I don't know what that was. I spent so much time trying to cut that buzzing out.
Gone! Thanks to this stupid
That's obviously an edited image. I'm sure I don't even need to point that out.
Good night, sweet prince. Gone! Dead! So I told you I'd give you a prediction. 45 states. Same as I've always said. 45 states for Donald Trump tomorrow.
He believed that Donald Trump was going to win 45 out of the 50 states. How truly, deeply delusional do you have to be to believe that? Really? That is outside of reality. To think that Trump was that popular. He must at least recognize that Trump is, like, deeply controversial, right? He must know that there are a lot of people that don't like him. Like, a lot. That really don't like Trump. That should be enough to tell you that, like, Trump is going to have a struggle on his hands. I told you this guy was a member of QAnon, Brendan Dilly, and I want to back up that claim with evidence. So check this out. This is the praying medic, a.k.a. Dave Hayes, on the right. On the left is Brendan Dilly himself. He is the most annoying person alive in this video. Brendan Dilly is so annoying in this video that I just cut his parts out because I didn't want to hear him. But just listen to him simply agree with everything Dave Hayes here says. Full-blown QAnoners. This is from May 2019.
Q has often said, especially over the last 6 months, this is going to be the end of the D Party. The end of the Democrat Party. Okay, now, if you are, average person listening, watching Q, like, what do you mean the end of the Democrat Party? The Democrat Party is not going to end. Yes, it is.
Oh, I love it, dude. May 2019. All these years later, And these, God, I love watching failed predictions. Like my favorite pastime.
Yeah.
And I'm going to explain to you how the Democrat Party is going to end. What we are going to see in the next year unrolled.
The next year, huh? 2019, May 2019 to May 2020. He thinks that that's what we were going to, or he thinks that we're going to see all kinds of stuff happen. Basically, the storm, massive correction, all the bad guys going to jail permanently, being arrested and being exposed and blah, 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 all that other junk. That's what they believe that the storm is. And they believe that it's going to be kicked off by 10 days of internet outages. Really. I'm 100% serious. That's a QAnon belief.
Unrolled is likely hundreds of members of Congress, most of them Democrats, some Republicans. All right. They're going to be arrested and they're going to be prosecuted.
Quick interjection, this won't take long. I just want to say, if you want to support my channel, the best way you can do it is by watching this video to the end, or at least watching a little bit longer than you would have otherwise. YouTube's recommendation algorithm works off of watch time. You can also subscribe to the channel, like the video, and check out my Patreon. Link is in the description for that. All right, back to the video.
Corruption.
So did this happen? Was he right? From May 2019 to May 2020? Of course he wasn't right. It fell flat like every other de facto prophecy that this dude laid down. Brendan Dilly and the praying medic have prophesied or predicted or whatever from QAnon that all of these evil people were going to be arrested every single year. 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. Still happening to this day. They're still predicting it. Seriously.
That people in Congress were warned the storm is coming, and they were told, if you are playing the game and you are in Congress when the storm hits, you're going to be prosecuted. They saw the storm coming and they were like, okay, I'm out. They were cut a deal. You get out, you won't be prosecuted. If you stay in, the hammer's going to fall on you, you're going to be prosecuted.
Yeah, some like congressmen at this moment when this was being filmed decided not to run again. Like Jeff Flake, for example, he's a Republican. They just saw the political climate. They wanted nothing to do with it, basically. Totally understandable. There were a lot of Democrats and there were a lot of Republicans who said, I'm not running again. And as a result, the praying medic and Brendan Dilly and everybody else used that fact as evidence that the storm was going to happen. Again, the storm is what they're describing here, where all of these bad people who are part of the deep state are exposed and arrested and brought to jail, and all this other junk is going to happen. It's going to be preceded by 10 days of internet outages. And they also, depending on which denomination, I guess you call it, which denomination of QAnon you go with, some of them also believe that after the arrests, they're going to immediately put all of these bad people into trials, where the trials are going to be aired 8 hours on, 8 hours off for like 2 weeks until all the trials are complete. And everybody's going to be forced to sit in front of their TV and watch the trials unfold. Absolutely psychotic stuff. And you know the saddest part about this? Trump didn't help this. In fact, he intentionally inflamed this. He made it worse. He seemingly attempted to convince people that the storm was real, that QAnon was real. This one is 2017. It's October 6, 2017. This is within just a few months of QAnon even being created and making all these claims about the storm.
You guys know what this represents?
By the way, leading up to this is like in the afternoon, I believe, or the evening. Trump called a press conference. And when he got there, he just wanted to take a bunch of pictures with people and stuff. It wasn't anything. It was just him, like, talking to people and just saying normal stuff. There's nothing unusual about it, except this moment right here. This was unusual.
You guys know what this represents?
Tell us, sir.
Maybe it's the calm before the storm.
The calm before the storm.
What's the storm?
Could be the calm before the storm.
What storm, Mr. President?
You'll find out.
So, yeah, Trump intentionally made this worse. This whole QAnon, the storm nonsense. Not to mention the fact that he invited Brendan Dilly, famed QAnoner, to Mar-a-Lago in the first place. And he's retweeting his stuff, his memes and his videos about Trump being like godlike or whatever.
1846, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker.
I mean, it's just insane. Anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comments. This dude needs help. All these people need serious psychiatric help, for real. Tell me what you think. Golden Ibex, I'm shocked this guy's allowed to fly anywhere. He's got to be on so many lists. Oh, yeah, no doubt. I'm sure. Come to think of it, I'm surprised of that, too. Because I know Nick Fuentes was put on the no-fly list. And once you get on a no-fly list, to my knowledge, there's no way off. And it's like an international thing. Like, you can't get on an airplane, at least in the United States. Doesn't matter where you're going. You just can't. It's a federal thing, at least. So, yeah, I'm surprised he's flying in anywhere.
Flying in!
God, Gilbert Gottfried is the closest analog that I can think of to this dude's voice. It's just, it grates on you. Gilbert Gottfried is awesome and has fantastic comedic timing. This guy doesn't know anything about comedic timing. He's just being obnoxious.